Once formidable, Taiwan's military now overshadowed by China's. ZUOYING Naval Base Taiwan, the Hai Pao, one of Taiwan's 4 Navy submarines, began its service as the Tusk, an American vessel launched in August 1945 at the end of World War II. Its sister submarine, the Hai Shih, is a year older. Neither can fire torpedoes today, though they can still lay mines. The submarines, said Feng Shih-kuan, Taiwan's Minister of National Defense, belong in a museum. The Hai Pao, with its paint-encrusted pipes, antiquated engines and a brass dial with a needle to measure speed in knots, will instead remain in service past its 80th birthday, a relic of a military that once was one of Asia's most formidable. Taiwan's aging submarine fleet is but one measure of how far the military balance across the Taiwan Strait is tilted in favor of the island's rival, mainland China. A military modernization overseen by the Chinese President, Xi Jinping, whose political power reached new heights after last month's Communist Party Congress in Beijing, has proceeded in leaps and bounds, lifted by hefty budget increases that have already made China the world's number 2 military spender after the United States, though it is a distant second. Taiwan's armed forces, by contrast, have fallen way behind, struggling to recruit enough soldiers and sailors, and to equip those they have. A major obstacle is that countries that might sell it the most sophisticated weaponry are increasingly reluctant to do so for fear of provoking China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory. The unwillingness to anger China extends even to the United States, on which Taiwan has long depended for its defense. This shifting balance affects more than just Taiwan. The Taiwan Strait was once Asia's most ominous flashpoint, with the potential to drag the United States into war with China. Now, it is just one of several potential hotspots between a more assertive China and its neighbors. Taiwan's experience could be a cautionary tale to Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and others in the region who are also warily watching China's rising military capabilities. A small snake does not make nearby frogs, chickens and ducks feel threatened, Mr. Feng, the minister, said in an interview, but when it grows to be a python, even nearby pigs, oxen, horses, and goats feel a threat to their survival. Adding to the unease has been uncertainty over United States policy under President Trump. As he makes his first visit to Asia, allies and others will look for signals about the depth of the American military commitment to the region. When he was still president-elect, Mr. Trump initially signaled a more fulsome embrace of Taiwan by accepting a congratulatory phone call from its president, Tsai Ing-wen. Since taking office, he has shown more deference to China in hopes of winning its support in the nuclear standoff with North Korea. When the Trump administration approved a new package of arms sales to Taiwan this summer, it was worth a relatively modest $1.4 billion, less than the $1.8 billion package approved by President Barack Obama 2 years ago. The sales have included missiles, radar equipment and other military gear, but they stopped short of the major systems that could give Taiwan a real edge. Any weakening of the American defense commitment is what Taiwan worries about most, said Lu Chengfu, an assistant professor at National Quemoy University on Kinmen, an island held by Taiwan that sits just 4 miles from the Chinese coast. We need to resist a Chinese military attack for 2 weeks and wait for help from the United States or the international community, said Mr. Lu, echoing a strategy that has been at the core of Taiwan's defense doctrine for decades. China has made no secret of its desire to absorb Taiwan, and China's military routinely drills to do so by force, if necessary. It has even built a scale replica of Taiwan's presidential building at its largest military training base in Inner Mongolia. China's armed forces have long outnumbered and outspent Taiwan's. China now has 800,000 active combat troops in its ground forces, compared with 130,000 in Taiwan. Its budget last year was $144 billion, compared with Taiwan's $10 billion, according to the Pentagon's most recent annual report on the Chinese military. Congress approved a $700 billion Pentagon budget in September, with an even larger increase than President Trump had requested. To defend itself, Taiwan has relied on geography, a mountainous main island 80 miles across a windswept strait, and the support of the United States. However, China's military modernization has eroded or negated many of Taiwan's historical advantages in deterring a potential attack, the Pentagon report warned in May. The Taiwan Relations Act of 1979 commits the United States to defend the island's sovereignty, providing such defense articles and